Okay,
Pedro, you're boring into my chest. There's a little Pedro-shaped hole in there that you've crawled into, and now I just feel sick.
I love you too,
inside.
Jordan.
And welcome back to another LinuxGameCast Weekly, the show that covers the latest Linux gaming news, reviews, how-tos, and most importantly, whatever the hell else we come up with. Big show. Maybe?
Moderately sized show.
I wouldn't.
That is excitement. That is joy. We're getting ready to rock your world. I'm Vince Stone. That man up there, bit by a moose, struck by lightning. That's Jordan Swang. He's kind of brilliant. Canadia's own.
I'm Swung Fury.
Swung Fury. Oh,
The Swung and the Furious.
And then there's Pedro. And you at home helping us form Cocaine Voltron. What's up? I'm done with the radio announcer voice, but I still sound like this anyway, so get used to it. Before we get going, we'd like to see what's going on. More goings in each other's life organs. I'll start first because I have been busy, lads. Busy week. Hot fingertip action. So if you follow me on social media, you might notice that I've been playing with a guitar. And it's like I can get up to speed for a new show I'm working on. Vin plays guitar poorly. PBS Kids. Stay tuned. Yeah, that hurts, man. I forgot about that. And so I've finally gotten used to it. And then I got back in the shower like the day after that. Hot water on like mangled fingertips. That was warm. That was exciting. That was a brain confused scream like, what? What is this witchcraft? I'm like, oh, yeah, that happens. What else do I have? Goth tuners. I got those, man, for the Gibson because it wouldn't stay in tune. So that was my little arts and craft project. That's cool. So I have like this black SG with black tuners. It's goth, man. It's going to start smoking cloves and writing bad poetry.
It's black #1.
Nah, man. That's a whole different story. And bar charts. I've been benchmarking audio interfaces. More on that probably Monday or something like that. I don't know. What have you been up to, Jordan?
I've been writing code. I've been writing code and going to meetings and making sure that I can go to scale for a week and shit won't catch fire. So I've just been working nonstop. I'm pooped. My brain is poop. My feet are poop. Poop.
Nice.
Everything is poop. Cool. Over here,
Fanglo, sweet chariot.
Coming for it to carry me home.
Yeah.
I've basically been trying to figure out exactly why Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider and F1 2017 aren't working in the Steam box, but a little something showed up in the notes for this very show that's like, I wonder, but we'll get to that.
Right after a word from the horse.
Nay, it's the Steam!
God damn it, I'm not ready.
Update!
You monster.
All right, so the latest Steam Lab is now available for your viewing and experimentation pleasure. It's called Play Next. And it's Experience 8. I don't know what happened to Experience 7, but it's not there anymore. But yeah,
7,
this
8,
one...
9.
Yes. No, but that's the thing. I think 6, 8, 7. So yeah, whatever the case may be, there's an experiment going on that you actually have to be signed in because, like most of the Steam Labs, it kind of goes off of what you've been playing, and it recommends games to you based on that. So it's like, okay, you've been playing a lot of Final Fantasy, so it's probably going to recommend some JRPGs and stuff for you. You've been playing a lot of stuff, and it goes, ooh, you bought a game last thing. It's already in your library. Why don't you give that a shot? And that's the big difference here. It's not just new games for you to try, but games that you've already bought. It will recommend them to you because it's like, oh yeah, that game you bought for like $2 3 years ago in a sale. Yeah, that very much fits what you've been playing up to now. So how about you give it a shot?
I want to say some real talk on this. It's like, this is kind of neat. I went and tried it. And the first thing if you're going to recommend Windows games, yes, I know Proton's a thing. We might have mentioned it before. but like maybe balance that with like Proton DB, because the top two recommendations you had for me have borked ratings, which can't get much use of that. Jordan, fair question, man. Steam recommendations have been around for a long time. Have you ever seen something recommended to you that you ended up clicking on and like buying?
I don't think so, but that's because like I go out of my way to like look for games that I'm interested in. But like you know who's a prime candidate for something like this? Sandy. Sandy loves going in and like just finding new games and trying them out. So like clearly there's a bit of like a marketing disconnect, because for people like us, we kind of have a sense of what we want. We're plugged into the gaming ecosystem, so we know when stuff is coming out. So we would have made that decision without the prompting of some recommendation. But I can see like someone who plays games casually, like, hey, you just played this game for a while, maybe you'd like this one. I am surprised though that they're actually going back and recommending games that you have already purchased, because I would think that like Steam's like, yeah, no, just keep buying those games that you'll never play. That's fine. It just makes us money. Buy some more games, fucko.
One of the reasons I bring this up is there have been times where like I really liked Nier Automatic Tomato. I would go to that page to scroll down to games like this. I'm like, is there more like this? And Steam's like, you want to play Sonic Racing just like Nier?
It's like it's tagged similarly, and that's the other thing. It's the whole tag system that could probably use a little bit of an improvement there, Valve.
A little bit,
just a little bit.
You know what we really need to do though is just look at the top releases of the Januaries.
Well, we could. We'd see a lot of
it's
Japanese
Japanuary.
games and Chinese games and Korean games and even a couple of Spanish entries, go figure. But yeah, it is the top releases of January 2020. And Valve have been doing this as like a way to show developers, it's like, look, see, this is what 30% is buying for you. And this month in particular, we start off with like Sands of Salazar, which is a Chinese developed game, Paranormal HK, Chinese developed game, and then we have a Japanese game, a Hungarian game, the one,
The Hungarian
Japan,
games.
Just the one.
Japan, Republic of Korea, Japan, Spain, Japan,
I'm going to
US,
be real with you. If you
UK.
show me an X like that, it better have Metal Slug in front of it.
I mean, it's giant robots.
It's Super Robot Wars, so yeah,
Super
close enough.
Robot Tyson. Yeah. So here's the thing, though. I went through all these lists, hoping to find a Linux game that was native. There's one.
Okay.
It is The Pedestrian. That is the only top Linux game of January.
Yeah.
Although I'm kind of with you, Ven, on like the SteamDB thing. I would like them to see like, hey, this thing has like a platinum rating on SteamDB, because I really do wonder how well Kaka Carrot Cake runs with the Protons.
It runs very well with the Protons, and I need to thank Aldius for sending me a key for that. Thank you, Aldius.
And
Thank you very much.
I do really want to try out Temtem. It's basically Pokemon with the serial numbers filed off.
Yes.
And like they're implementing features that people have been asking Nintendo for years. And Nintendo's like, no. $90, please.
I'm with Matthew with them. There's a gang of weeb stuff. So if you're down with that, but what, this is a good thing though, because Valve, you want to make more money, sell more stuff. This is a way to do it where I don't have to, remove that step. This is one of the brilliant things about Proton is you took that layer of friction away from having to install anything else. You've reduced it down to a play button, which works for somebody like me. My days of tinkering with wine, way behind me. But if you could be like, how well is this play button thing going to work? And it's also going to cut back on refunds. So it's a win-win.
Yes.
Get some integration going in there. Don't duplicate efforts. Don't be like, oh, now we have our own system. Just don't. Speaking of Proton, though,
No, there's a brand new version out. It's 503. Very, very, very tiny release. They're adding some DX D3, D12 or whatever the hell it's called for Metro Exodus, so you can play that once it gets out of the Epic exclusive clutches. There's some crashes on Walking Dead Saints and Sinners and eFootball Pet. I was about to say eFootball Penis, but that's not the name of the game.
It is now.
I wish it was.
Genital jousting. Who's going to direct that?
The film adaptation? Evan Stone.
Cool.
Automobilista, which I thought was a ballista that shoots cars, but it's not.
You're doing better than me on that. I thought that was a typo to Reddit, and I was like, nah, it's probably a game.
And then there's a regression involving high polling rates for mice. It's a maintenance release. It's fixing some stuff that maybe got uncovered as 5.0 came out recently. I don't know. As seeing development in Proton is just a good thing. Hey, there's a new release.
Yes.
Yay.
It definitely made me happy when I saw that. Oh, look, Metro now with like 100% more Direct 3D 12 support. Jeez, okay, that's happening.
VK 3D, yeah.
It's pretty cool, man.
The high polling rate for mice has been an issue with Wine. One of the games that is very, very guilty of that is Neverwinter, the MMO. So
That's
I'm wondering
why you
if
should
I
be
decide
playing
to throw
sometimes winter.
Yeah, if I decide to throw 1500 hertz at it, how it'll fare now? Just wondering.
I don't know. Maybe you should try playing some Neverwinter Days.
Pedro, you give me the sads because you're one of those people like, well, should I try this thing that won't hurt anything? I was like, I guess I'll never know. Maybe someone on the internet will try.
It was 32 gigs, and by the time I saw this, there was like 20 minutes left until the pre super shows had started. So I didn't download it.
Always
right?
32 gigs with you, man. Always.
I mean, I hear that. I'm like, yeah. These days, that's what like a 10-minute download
from Steam.
Yeah.
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 No, I see. My download speed is like 27 megabytes per second. So,
you know what? Yeah. You know, at 32 gigs, that's one of the things I think about when like downloading from Steam, because if I wait long enough, if it's large enough, I can get up to 800 megabits, but it's gotta be a chunky download because it goes up like that over a large period of time. Womp womp. A little bit of bad news from a game that's been around on Linux for a long time. We're talking about Payday 2, which is still a perfectly fun game, but there are going to be changes.
Would you like to buy some DLC then?
Well, one of the good things about the new ownership of Payday 2 is they took away a lot of the gambling, but now you can just kind of buy everything. But what is it? The TLDR, no more drills, no more unavailable safes, and no more safes in the marketplace. We're making some changes to ensure the Popo won't raid us again. Ooh, looking at that hip young language the kids use. You still have a couple of days to purchase safes and drills to your current system, but after we make the change, you can open any safe. Asterisk, without having to purchase a drill, the cop safe and drill will remain unchanged.
They couldn't let it all go.
No, man. No. Maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know, like I don't think there's like too much Atlanta gambling mechanics there, because like it was only one or two things that actually they're concerned about, so I think they're just playing it safe. But the other thing too is if you are someone who owns these drills, when this cutover happens, you'll just get their corresponding safes, and then you can just open them. So I don't think they're trying to rip off anyone.
No, but I don't.
Definitely now that legislators are paying more attention to loot box mechanics, people are going, oh, maybe we should wheel this back a little bit so that we don't get sued by angry parents.
Yeah, this is definitely like a preemptive danger thing, which always, I gotta be real. I think even the three of us, we're kind of oblivious to DLC and gambling mechanics, aren't we? Like,
yeah, pretty much.
Just give me the game.
It's like if they give them to me for free, I'll make use of them, but I'm not gonna buy them.
There's also the pro Linux move of by the time most games come out on Linux, you get the full DLC pack anyways. Right. So
right, there is that.
Although I will say that if this was a thing to
it is a thing
get
now.
Some legs under it, and other games were to start doing this as well, I wouldn't be opposed if Valve was to do that with Counter-Strike Global Offensive, just because I have like 5 or 6 crates that I'm never going to open.
But you need to give Valve more money, Pedro.
Yeah.
No, I've given them plenty.
You
need to give them more.
Hey.
It's just like the Mormon Church, 10%. Besieged, they have an update. Version 101.111100.1100.112.
Calm down or you'll time travel.
Right. Yeah, so just in time for the CHAIRQASITION, we're throwing some chairs at this now that it's out proper. But they got some bug fixes. They've also added 2 new blocks, a speedometer and an decline detection thingy. So now you can recreate your favorite Sandra Bullock / Keanu Reeves movie.
You can make a missile launcher, dude, and it's got a speedometer.
That's true.
Yep.
If this war machine goes over 30 miles an hour, it will explode.
Because you're gonna put a rocket. See, I hate watching this. It's like, okay.
Rocket Man.
Don't have to make one of those.
Right. Yeah, we'll get to that in the CHAIRQASITION, but needless to say, Besiege is a pretty fun game.
Dude, I streamed a bit of it last night for everyone, or yesterday evening, depending on where on this ball you are. And yeah, just dicking around, starting over from the beginning. And I was like, okay, this is fun. I'm having a good time just playing around. And it's got the challenge to it, right?
Yeah. It's murder Legos.
Yeah. It's awesome.
So hot. Just like Dead Cells' new update, 1.7, hotfix number 2. So now they fixed it so enemies can stab you while they're shopping, but at least they won't shoot you. Also, PC gamers rejoice. They have some Xbox fixes in this new branch. Apparently there are some other issues that they fixed as well. Something about a gardener corpse and blueprints.
Gardener's corpse.
Blueprints, yes.
Blueprints flying at you when you reload a save. They keep chugging along on that. I think they're kind of taking the Hollow Knight approach of just like, hey, here's just a bunch of free DLC for our game that we put out.
Well, you gotta give them credit for it too, because this game has been out forever. Dead Cells is not a new game, so.
Yeah, it lived quite a long life in early access, got released, we threw some chairs at it, and they keep throwing new content at it, which is always nice to see.
Yep.
That is a brilliant
There's still
brilliant thing to do.
one significant issue with it, which is, say you have a Steam box, or you have a PC that just boots into big picture mode and happens to be using the Steam compositor. It doesn't work. The game starts, and for all intents and purposes, you can hear it. You can see that it's working, and if you touch the controller, you hear the menu going up and down, but it's hidden under the Steam Big Picture Mode layer. So the only fix for it is to use the Steam Compositor Plus, which is like a fork of the Steam Compositor, and that's really not available on any repos whatsoever. It's like, I'd like someone to like Negativo17, flip it.
Do you know what's really fun to try to play with the native version? With your Steam controller. Because it don't work.
Yeah, it works with that.
I had to play it with Proton because I was like, I'm using the Steam controller. It's like, go ahead. Have fun with that fucko. Like, true story. All right. One last little bit to celebrate, and it is a very, very much legitimately just a little bit, in case you missed the announcement, our weekly stream, and so no one caught that. I didn't even know you did that. Jackbox, Party in Your Pack 7 in the coming months. So that's cool. We like to play those at the end of the month, and they're always fun. The last one, I would have said was a weak-ass party pack, but we got the rapping robot thing, and I thought it was like that one was good.
Also more trivia. It's always good.
Always trivia. Release a trivia pack with like bring back You Don't Know Jack, like update it. I'd be good with that. Maybe.
I think they have that in one of the party packs.
They do. Yeah, but it's old.
4?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think, have they announced what games are shipping with it yet, or?
Nope. Well, they might have.
No, that is literally the announcement. It's coming in the fall.
Wee.
All
right.
Maybe they'll do another one of those T-shirt islands things. Those are fun too. Anyways, coming up next, Pedro's Steambox finally gets fixed because Nvidia fixes their shit, and also some wine bugs get fixed 3 years later.
Stupid, sexy alcoholic bugs.
And it's about time you put down your corn chips. I'm totally borrowing Jordan's thing, because if you're not watching us live, you should totally be, so you could call me out on this
what I
right
heard?
here, right
I
now.
heard that you were boring Jordan's thing. Now I'm just like, oh man.
Boring. Close enough.
I'm just worried that... Okay,
Pedro, you're boring into my chest. There's a little Pedro-shaped hole in there that you've crawled into, and now I just feel sick.
I love you too,
inside.
Jordan.
I was genuinely thinking maybe your penis had ADD.
I mean, mine does, but that's beside the point. We can talk about that later in the after show. If you want to pay for my medical bills for a Pedro extraction, you can head on over to LinuxGameCast.com. Put your mouse over the support button. Buy us a corn chip. Give us some donations over PayPal, or give us some bitcoins, or a LibrePay. Buy something from our store, or that's not the store. That's the Patreon.
That's a Patreon store.
I got confused because they changed the color scheme on Patreon. But yeah, becoming a Patreon's cool. For $2.50 a week, you can get access to the show notes. For $1, you can get access to the Discord channel. That's pretty cool. You can hang out with us the other 6 days of the week. You can RSVP to some game streams. Sometimes we do some multiplayer. I know this week we got some Jackbox. It's the last week of the month.
We do.
So Ben's going to be doing some Trivia Friday. So if you want to tune into that, or you want to join in, become a Patreon. You also get an extra hour of Linux Gamecasting goodness.
Don't say that slow.
Yeah. We got a store too. We got a special promo for you. If you enter,
no, we don't.
No, we don't.
That was for you, baby.
That was for me. Okay. No,
that was all you.
Nepotism and Linux gaming t-shirts. None for you, but you can still buy a t-shirt. You can buy a coffee mug. You can buy some stickers. It's good stuff. We got to thank Drummer. He's back as a Patreon.
Welcome back, Mr.
Drummer. Welcome back.
Yeah, and amongst the other things you get for being a Patreon is early access to podcasting how-to videos.
Wait a minute. Why were we just making them early access? Then people can't accuse us of making it a paywall.
I don't know.
Damn it.
I'm not the marketing guy. You can't ask me these questions.
Asking. Yeah, I put up a little thing earlier for Patreons. If you want to take a look, I think it actually went public today, though, and tell everyone about it. It's available at patreon.com/LinuxGameCast. Is that Mackie mixer, that not even mixer, control surface, the Mr. Mackie, that I did my best to resurrect and get it in a working state, and whether or not it works without door and can do all the fun automation stuff. So if you want to go watch that, it is there. And stay tuned later this week, because there will be the beta, the alpha, the pilot episode of Interfacing Linux. So that'll be rolling out.
I am Interface!
And I'll be collecting some feedback for it, some thoughts, because, the first ones are always rough, man. You're like, you go back and watch them, like, oh, that's bad. So...
Yeah, don't go watch the first couple episodes of Linux Gamecast. It's so bad. It's so bad.
You left 2 digits.
Or, I'm not in them.
So they're slightly better.
Yeah,
slightly better.
Bit.
Slightly better.
It's not a hockey stick. Okay.
Now
Driver news?
Hockey sticks are what you can buy with our affiliate link. Yeah, drivers.
Oh yeah, we do have affiliate links. Go check those out.
Yeah. We got some brand new Vulkan drivers. These are the special sauce Vulkan drivers for developers and people who like advanced Vulkan features. They got a new version out. This is what was it? 44058. Oh dear. And it fixes a regression which added syntax errors into the default application profile for the configuration file on Linux. Yay.
Yay.
Yeah.
So that's working again. Also, there are some issues fixed in a previous update this week, fixing Derp 4, Tom Brader, and F1 2017. Pedro, you have some comments on that too, don't you?
I do, because I was running the 44058 like the mainline series because I'm an idiot, apparently. And it's like, okay, so you'll probably, if you watch the live stream that I did with Arthur and about the Steam box, I mentioned that F1 2017 and Rise of the Tomb Raider specifically, I was having issues getting those two games to run. And I see the link and I saw Jordan's comment in the notes and it's like, I wonder. So I loaded this newest version on the Steam box, and a Tomb Raider just out of the box started working. F1 was throwing some seg faults. I just deleted it, re-downloaded it, and it works now too. Go figure. So yeah, no, I was happy to learn that it wasn't my fault that the games weren't working. It's nice
fault.
For a change.
I think at the end of the day, man, I mean, we've said this a billion times, but I want to say it again. Good on you, Nvidia, for like testing against feral games and stuff like that, because it's really important. I understand that DX12 will be the winning API. It is the future, but I think this little Vulkan thing is going to come in a close second.
You joke, but with Visual Studio basically writing your DX12 code for you.
So no users, I'm sorry, there is still a problem with this driver. Apparently alt-tabbing will still bork some stuff. They fixed it, they fixed alt-tabbing for other Vulkan apps in other desktop environments, but they still can't nail it down in the genome, so sucks to be you.
Well, that's whatever, man. I got an AMD card.
Then we got some good news for you.
Yeah, and if you've been trying to get some of that performance profiling happening with the RadV driver, who are you? And we'd like to talk to you. But Samuel Pitwase?
I thought you were going to say L. Jackson. I was disappointed.
But yes, he submitted a couple of patches to Mesa to introduce initial support for the Radeon GPU profiler. And it is, the Radeon GPU profiler is very much something that you run if you're trying to figure out where exactly the GPU is getting all hung up when it's using a certain driver, and it wasn't working. If you were using RadV, it didn't work.
No.
But it does. It will start to now, hopefully.
No.
And hopefully, and I do mean hopefully, this will mean that in future, Vulkan performance on the open source RadV driver will be better, because when the Steam box didn't have the 1650 to go along with it, one of the things I noticed was the Talos principle in Vulkan. The performance was poop. It really wasn't great. So, yeah.
That's pretty cool, man. When do you think it's going to be we can legitimately tell someone's like, go buy a 5700 XT, just not from Asus?
Next year.
Next year.
Well, then it'll be in all the mainstream
June,
distros.
maybe.
Yeah. June is the earliest. I'm going to say next year. Give it some time, because they're going to update those installer images.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Squish! Squish!
Yes, crushing those bugs. So, one of the long-standing bugs with Wine has been related to the Media Foundation platform implementation. And this one specifically is 43814, which is multiple games require IMF source reader read sample implementation, like Danganronpa, Resident Evil 2, and a few others. So basically, this bug, it wasn't just those games, but yeah, those are just a couple of examples, has been fixed. And they say, because the function, that specific function that is referred at the top of the bug, is now implemented. It's progress. It's very good progress. And like Van was highlighting there, Nikolai Sivov ends the thread by saying, doesn't mean it'll work though. So
I love a good solid disclaimer like that, though, man.
It's like it's implemented. I mean, that's basically Mac OS 10 POSIX compliant. We implemented all the function calls. They don't fucking do anything. They just return null values, but they're implemented. Yeah, it's good to see that they're bringing in some of the DLLs that would you'd otherwise have to ship, because it's a bit of a legal no man's land when it comes to snooching DLLs from a Windows installation, unless your name is Mathieu Commandant. You can distribute whatever code you want, regardless of whether you have the rights to do so or not. But yeah, it took them about 3 years to get this done. It's good to see that it is, though. It means that the Wine project is progressing. They're slowly but surely replacing everything that you could need in a Windows environment with an open source equivalent.
I mean, it definitely makes me the happy, because 99% of the issues that I've had with Proton have usually stemmed from something mfplat related. And hey, man, I don't care if it fixes all the things, or maybe one of the things, or half of one of the things on a Tuesday after 6 p.m. It's still working on a 4-year-old bug, and it's good to know it's not forgotten, right? I'm like, yeah, we know this is a thing. We're on it.
And getting a Wine native Media Foundation implementation is far, far preferable than having to use Microsoft's and having to basically get Wine tricks. It's like, no, trust me. You want to install this. So, yeah. Don't do it. Very good.
mfplat stuff, man. It's usually like one of 4 different random solutions might work. So
go to dll.org and download this random file, you guys. Run it as root too. Just
why do I have to enter my root pass? Just don't ask questions. You're a Windows user. You're used to it. Just do it.
It's okay. It's okay.
Plagiarism.
Gamepad, the Linux exclusive game platform. Yes, because it's an open game platform designed exclusively for Linux and Linux gamers, man. This
From
is
Australia.
On Kickstarter. Yeah, they're Aussies. They got a Kickstarter program. Thing setting up. Reasonable thing, man. $49,000. They're looking to get this party started. Jordan?
Yeah. So, if you start watching their little video, you might recognize the familiar theme song. I wonder if they're fans of certain
It sounds
Wednesday
like
podcasts.
Wednesday.
Also, man, those screenshots. I think GOG's going to see somebody. But
okay.
So
Yeah.
the goal here is they want to effectively create a Linux gaming storefront to create with a curated list of Linux native games or games that work well with Proton. And they want to make that the sole focus. They also say that they have goals they want to implement. They want to integrate with like FlatHub and Lutris. They just want to be like a backend for it, so you can buy games and run them through Lutris. This is totally fucking GOG, by the way. Like
danger.
It is. Yeah, they're gonna get some cease and desist.
Well, one thing I like is all right, that's a GOG look, and that's also like, look, it's the same color scheme as the Steam logo in the circle with a controller in the middle.
If we rip both of them off at the same time, no one will ever know.
Oh no,
right?
it cancels it out. You can screw 2 Jesuses.
Yeah.
Basically.
But I mean, it's not a bad idea, right?
No.
Like there's a lot of guesswork involved still with Linux gaming. There are native games that just like straight up don't fucking work. So it would be nice to see like, hey, these guys are continuously putting together a list of games that are known to work and work well. I will say though, with stuff like the Epic Game Store, Humble, Discord tried to do it for a while and they fucked off real quick. And Steam, I mean, I think they're a little too late to the party. This is definitely something that we could have used maybe 4 years ago, but the market presence wasn't there just yet. So they're kind of in this limbo state of it's a good idea, but I don't think it's going to succeed just due to the environment that exists right now.
Better.
Yeah, no, honestly, looking at this whole Kickstarter page, what I'd like to see is if, let's say, because clearly if they have the chops to plagiarize the GOG UI,
Inspired by.
Why not, put those creative, let's call them that, chops to, say, creating a GUI for Lutris that looks very much like that and makes the whole experience a bit better. Strider. No, I mean, it's not Strider. What's their name again?
Strider.
You're fired.
No, I mean, yeah, I agree. Lutris could use like a Coda Pretty, but
It could do this. Listen, man, at the end of the day, they're aiming for a 2020 release on this. The funding seems legitimate, does seem reasonable. To Jordan's point, this probably would have had a slightly better taste to it if it would rolled out like, I don't know, like 2 seconds after Desura. Remember that? Nope. $25 gets you a free game. And, you know, it's like, it does kind of become a hard sell when you do live with something like, oh, do the Steam thing. Like, okay, well, if you don't do the Blight, do the Luchers thing. Because it just works with everything. It works with Steam. It works with GOG. And everything else. However, since you guys are, gals are probably watching this, I openly invite you, like, seriously, like, if you want to come sell this to not only us, but everyone watching the show, more importantly, everyone listening to the show, it's 99% of our audience, and educate us. Like, what are your thoughts, hints, and your allegations and your plans for this? Because I don't know if we're necessarily grabbing it from the Kickstarter campaign. And hey, man, we want all this stuff to succeed, right?
Yeah. No, it would be nice to see them come on here and make their case. Absolutely.
And there's already plenty of clients out there. So yes, please tell us what it is that makes your thing stand out.
Okay. The egg is back yet again.
The egg. It's the Gamer Loot Crate, you guys. YOLO swag. Get a drill, run it through your brain. Wait, no, that's a different thing. Yeah, so Newegg's been on a bit of a tear these days, promoting Linux, and I'm curious what their end game is here.
Kidnapping,
because probably they're just going to kidnap Linus Torvalds. I believe it.
Yep.
But they put together a little how-to of Linux gaming, play Windows games on Linux with Proton. And it basically boils down to, here's how you get Proton enables, here's how you select your version of Proton you want to use, and for the love of God, check Proton DB before you make any goddamn purchases. Make sure that your game can actually run. And, I mean, there are a lot of us here who are watching this show right now who are like, duh, obviously. But, you know, for someone who's new, these sorts of articles are useful. They do have merit. And, you know, going a little bit more in depth on how you can get Windows games up and running and having like a concrete guide, especially retweeted by a big fucking company like Newegg, is some good visibility for the platform. So good on them.
Yeah, no, this is gamercrate.com is very much a Newegg thing, and I keep seeing them on Twitter. It's like, oh yeah, Linux article thing. That's how you do it.
Do you think they're gonna start like selling custom Linux machines? Do you think, is this where it's leading to?
If they do, and I don't get a phone call, I'm going to be cross with them for like 3, possibly 7 minutes.
Because they can't be doing this out of the goodness of their heart. They might, but like it's a hard pill to swallow.
Welcome to the Jaded Canadian. Look at this. They've deleted it.
404.
Oh shit.
The drama intensifies. Do you have a cached version you can read to us?
I'm looking for it.
Pedro, go for it.
I have it loaded. So you may have heard, if you were on Linux_gaming and on Reddit in general, or you follow the Linux circles, that there was a DMCA takedown issued on the SDL game controller DB. And people were asking, it's like, what the hell's going on? So Philip Grork, I think that's how you pronounce his name, issued a DMCA takedown on the SDL Steam controller database because the person who was hosting that particular GitHub repo had removed his name from the check.python script that apparently he made. And I mean, okay, licensing kerfuffles happen. This is open source after all. That's to be expected. But then, of course, Philip Quark forked the repo and basically introduced the license again with his name. And this whole thread kind of developed. At one point, even a Mr. Flibbity-Jibby-Bo, which you may know as Ethan Lee, decided to join in.
So this project is used as a backend for like configuring joysticks, right?
Yeah, it's just a database for
So
all
they
the
got thrown down,
heuristics.
and people realized it wasn't connecting or something. There's some database it was tying into, and it's like, oh, 404, that happened. And I was just perusing through it, and I was like, okay, to really simplify it, was this the guy was trying to get a hold of the original repo, and he couldn't get ownership of it, and apparently, like, whoever originally set it up, it like poofed into a cloud of pink smoke. And I didn't get in. I was just like, okay, this doesn't seem like a big deal. Okay, pissed a lot of people off. Then Ethan showed up. Ethan's like, oh shit, boom. And he's like, then the dude, do you have screenshots, Pedro? Could you like start pooping out some screenshots?
I can start pooping out screenshots.
We're just talking about, but like this is one of the rare instances where we get like angry Ethan.
Yeah.
But yeah, like there is a huge kerfuffle about it. There was a DMCA takedown issued by this guy to the other repository, which he thought was a common measured approach, but as it turns out, didn't really fully understand the implications of the Digital Millennium copyright takedown clause. So that caused some more drama llama. It looks like this guy has kind of burned his bridge with the SDL community. Maybe, I don't know.
Pretty much. Ethan at one point straight up says, we will never use this repo for anything. If I have to, I will fork it, I will remove your thing, and I will use it as it is.
Woo!
So.
So spicy. So spicy. Yeah.
Well, it looks like we're not going to get those screenshots anytime soon, so we need to get out of here.
All right, coming up next, we're going to assemble Voltron out of bricks and fire, and then we're going to sick him on some chickens. Come watch. We're throwing chairs at Besieged. It's socks, it's rocks, it's blocks.
The CHAIRQASITION!
It is the CHAIRQASITION. Welcome to it. It's where the accused game must survive trial by Fedoras, Neons, and Debwans. Multiple fedoras, so many fedoras. Then we can ask the question, is it fun? We're taking a look at Besiege by Spiderling Studios, done on Unity. You can pick it up for about $10. 50% off on the 1.0 sale, so you can still grab it while it's hot. Besiege is a physics-based building game in which you construct medieval siege engines. No, you build airplanes. Paddle your way through 54 single-player campaign levels, unleash chaos with your friends in multiplayer, create your own worlds with the level editor, and customize your game through mods with the workshop. We bought this came in a bundle forever ago, right? Like that's where we all got this from.
I think I straight up bought it.
Yeah,
I think this was back. This has been in early access so long, everyone, that I genuinely at this time owned every Linux title available on Steam.
I think I bought it when they first announced multiplayer in early access.
Yeah, you were a latecomer to this one. I remember that.
I was, and I'm like, oh my god, this is so fun! I've been missing out. And anyways, let's give it the business. How's it run on Debian?
All right. Is he gonna hit the right button? Yeah, he is. Check it out.
Yeah.
First impressions, launching it on Debian 10.3 on the 1920X, 32 gigs RAM, 2060. NVMEs and all that jazz. Y'all still running some of that ancient-ass Unity, kids. That blue screen, that blink, and it's like, oh, it's been a minute since I've seen that. And if that blue screen doesn't give away like you're running an old copy of Unity or just an older version, when it opens in the wrong monitor, you'll know for sure. Sometimes it'll open right in the middle of it too, and that's always fun. That dash pop-up window was the only way I could get it in windowed mode on this box running XFCE. I normally don't. It's been a while since I've had to monkey around to get any of that work. Everything else, though, works out of the box, and if you just want to launch it full screen, the biggest issue with that was like getting it to the correct monitor, so that might be a problem and something to look out for. But let's talk about whether or not this is fun, because you get to, things like, hey, is this a load-bearing murder drill? How often do you get to ask yourself that? No, last Easter doesn't count. But this is the gaming equivalent of Lego Mindstorm. You build machines to accomplish tasks, and yes, sometimes innocent sheep get caught up in this task, but sheep, they're just silly creatures and quite frankly deserve it. Hashtag mutton rocked. But it does start with just like knocking things down. As you're seeing Pedro's here, he's like, yep, everyone goes through the murder drills, man. Murder drills show up real quick in this game. Knock down this little hut. Then it's a windmill. And it's followed by like population control 101. I was like, murder all these people. Done. Bit of flying as you're going through the tutorial and all this, but that's normally when my brain starts hurting with the possibilities of, well, just chaos and destruction. Because those possibilities in sandbox mode are endless and, quite frankly, disturbing in a wholesome way. And when you add to that the option for multiplayer that Jordan's got a raging clue about, dude, you have something the whole murderous family can enjoy. At $4.99, you just insta-buy it. You'll find a use for it. You'd just be a slimmy dibby not to. I haven't dumped this in a long time. Long time, man. But when it comes down to a solid fun, OMG, WTF, BBQ, 4 chairs.
Yeah, on Fedora's 30s, 64 bits. There's so many bits. With the i7 6700K and GTX 1080 Ti, it pops up on the wrong window. That's annoying, but whatever. That's easily fixed. Otherwise, it fires up and holds a solid 60 FPS. It gives you the little FERPS counter on the side just for funsies. The controls are kind of janky, but that's also kind of the point. These aren't supposed to be like super precise machines because that would defeat the purpose of the game.
When you say controls, you want to like nail like movement controls, not camera controls, because 99% of it's camera control.
Yes, 99% of it is camera controls. The camera controls are also a little janky, but again, I think that's part of the fun. Speaking of fun, I mean, there's a single player mode, but you know, that's not why I'm here. And it's really just to give you some stimulus to build and refine your murder machines. And honestly, the murder Lego component is why I'm really on board with it. I just like derping along, building some horrific automata or vehicle and seeing how it fails and catches fire, and then seeing if I can fix it and make it do the thing I had originally set out to do. And I think that's kind of like one of the biggest strengths of Besiege is that it really does give you the tools and the ability to cater to your own specific playstyle. If you want to like treat it as a puzzle game, you can. If you want to treat it as sort of like an engineering game, you can. And if you just want to like build some machines with your friends and then do a little demolition derby, you absolutely... What the hell is that, Pedro? My God. I have no idea what that was intended to be. But yeah, like multiplayer is a huge killer feature that they did add. And like what we were doing back when we streamed the multiplayer initially, doing like timed build challenges and demolition derbies. Demolition dirties. I think that's where the fun really is. You can pit your monstrosities against your friends, and it's really, really fun. I enjoy this game. It is the Lego game that I think we all really wanted.
It's a Lego game we deserve.
I don't think we deserve it, but we have it anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, and over here, I was distracted looking at my own footage.
Did you see Jordan's last week and you're like, I can do better than that?
Yeah, no, completely. But yeah, no, over here on KD Neon 1804 still, with the GTX 1080 and the Ryzen 7 3700X, the game runs very well. Bonus points for remembering the resolution from when I last played it, when I didn't have this 2560 by 1440 screen. I only had the 3840 by 2160. And it remembered that, so of course it went to the wrong monitor, which happens to be the right monitor, or the monitor that's on the right, as the case may be. But after setting it to 2560 by 1440 and capping the FPS to 144, it magically showed up on the primary X display. So there's that. The
nailed it.
The FERPs will drop from 144 if there's a lot of fire going on screen and there's a lot of gibs flying around, but yeah, most of the time it will hold 144 easily. And I am glad that while you're building the robot, there is a camera reset button, because I lost my bearings with the camera more than once. But for the fun, yeah, build a catapult. Because, well, for that level, it's not working terribly well because, yeah, well, you can see what's happening if you're watching the video version. But yeah, seriously, just build one. the mechanical blocks and the automation blocks, they look a little daunting at first, but they're worth the time to figuring out exactly how they work, and that's why single player is there. It's basically a long-winded tutorial to teach you how to use those things, because they expect you to use those things, like for this stupid level where you have to kill a flock of seagulls. Which happens to be the second level of the second island, specifically. And yeah, no, there's a lot of me not being able to figure it out in this video, and I eventually just ended up doing it by setting up a bunch of piston blocks, all stacked on each other with flamethrowers at the top, just going all around. It's like, oh, that's how you do it. All right, okay. But yeah, that's kind of a staple with puzzle games. There's always that one level that you can't or you don't want to deal with. And my one complaint with Besiege specifically would be, it's not as intuitive as I would have liked it to be, and the physics can be a bit janky at times, but hey, that's just like my opinion, man, and some people actually enjoy that, as you've heard Ven and Jordan mention earlier. So for me, it gets 3 chairs.
Well, there you go. I think you should just buy this game. It's fun.
Yeah, pretty much.
100. I mean, this made it's like my mom would love this. She would love the physics of it and the engineering aspect behind it. Yeah. It's reasonably accurate. I had a good time with it. It's fun. You look at it. It's like just it's interesting to see what your brain comes up with as far as complex solutions to simple problems.
The other cool thing too is if you're struggling, you can actually import other people's stuff and then take it apart and understand how it works, which is another cool feature of it.
And just the detail in this. I was editing what I streamed last night, my local recording of it, just down to like the knights falling and the blood splatters being right and his legs coming. And I was like, that somebody spent some time with that, really cared.
No,
about
this
that.
is clearly a labor of love. It just so happens to be that the love is for gruesome murder, but hey,
that's the best kind of love when it really boils down to it.
Yes, you can disable the gore. I think the blood, at least.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not like Serious Sam where you can turn it into hippie jukes and pumpkins and stuff. But
unfortunately,
I'm sure there's a workshop mod for it. All right, coming up next, we actually got some hate mail this week.
And it looks like this particular space train has pulled into the station.
It was that day Thomas's train grew 3 inches too big.
It's that day that Thomas the Tank Engine had a railgun installed on his head.
Yes.
Can you have a tug train?
You can absolutely have a tug train.
That's a very different train, Ven. We can talk about that in the after show.
It's like a tugboat, but with more train.
Please do not send us any stories about your tug trains, but
you can send me stories about tug trains.
Yeah, I'm not going to put a complete rule out on that.
Yeah,
you can. They just might not be featured right here. Okay. If you would like to get your bit of hate mail featured right here, right now, you can go to LinuxGameCast.com, hit the contact button, and fill out the form. Make sure you're sending it to LGC Weekly. That's the show that you need to pick. Or you can ask Jordan for relationship advice if that happens to be your personal preference. Yeah, I guess if you want to ask Jordan about relationship advice, the chug train is more than adequate.
A little tug to the left, a little tug to the right.
Hey, I also want to throw out, if you have some old audio equipment laying around, I am currently on a 1 carbon-based entity mission to get that shit documented properly, so it'll be available for future musicians and podcasters alike. Compared to what we currently have. So there is a link up there with our P.O. box. If you got something that you would throw away, don't put it in the landfill. Let's get it in the database. And thank you. You're awesome. Okay.
So first hate mail. It's weird. I very rarely say things that incense people to the point of sending me hate mail. It's mostly just Pedro and Ben. But I got one this week from Linux. To answer my question, here are some game soundtracks that he listens to while not gaming. I asked that in response to the sale that they had on game soundtracks on Steam. So, Nier, the OG, Emmy Evans and Keiichi Okabe are next level greatness. Nier Automata, Janique Nicole, Emmy Evans, and Keiichi Okabe have become as gods. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, good soundtrack. Cave Story.
Become as gods is good. That
it is.
Yeah.
That track slaps.
I was jamming to that, like when I was running around. I was like, become as gods. Like, yeah, I like this.
Sonic Adventures 1 and 2. If you're gonna run around at the speed of sound, got nowhere to go, gotta follow your rainbow. You can do that. There are others, but those come to mind immediately. All right, well, you know, I wasn't saying that there isn't like good music in video games. I was just thinking like I'm very rarely like, hey, remember that one song from that one game? I kind of want to listen to that, but I will say I'm probably gonna go listen to Become as Gods later because that song is actually really good.
I particularly enjoy the there's a word I'm going for. I don't know.
Juxtaposition?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess that would work though. Yeah, okay. That's the right word. Between like the calming, soothing music in Besiege makes better sense when you're slicing up birds. You're like,
oh, absolutely.
that was like something I think I said Friday. I was like, oh, I feel like the Bob Ross of like murder machines. Oh, that's a happy little
look at those happy little birds.
Digital slaughter device, baby. Oh, it was kind of brilliant. Up next.
We have F10.
Me trying to get a button.
He's talking about Vixit. As like, I think it's a good idea. When Ven makes some how-to videos or attempt to fix something, you should call them ventures.
You know what?
How's that,
Ven? Hi. Yes. Wait, why do you have a phone in your hand? I'm just gonna
ring, ring.
Hello? Oh, yes. This is Vengineering.
Vengineering?
You've reached the Vengineering department. I don't know, dude. If somebody... Ventures? Man, I don't know. Just...
Ventures in hardware? Ventures in musical production?
It's a good thing you got that phone, Pedro. Smash your head against it.
Kiss Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, this is a long. Damn it, you missed. A little bit to the left.
Now extend your lips a little bit. Give us a pucker.
I don't have money writing on this. A little bit to the left. This was not a long con. Mostly. All right. Last but not least.
From Low Spec Linux Laptop. What? How long has this been going on? In response to Proton purchases not being tracked as Linux purchases. I bought Windows stuff expecting it to be counted as Linux purchases. Battlefront 2 Classic, Dark Forces 2, Mysteries of If the Sith, and KOTOR.
Yes. It's a real mystery. If the Sith.
Sith trust up. It's syphilis.
If Sith we trust.
Here's one of the things when you got to think about that. Yeah, we all did. And we're all basing that on Loopy going, yeah, it's getting counted. And now he's back again. He's like, yeah, it's getting counting like it was the first time. So it's getting counted.
Mm-hmm. Like I said last week, though, it's like a bizarre leap of logic as to why they wouldn't be tracking it. Because they're tracking literally everything else. They have that information available.
Well, they could be tracking. Like, back to my very non-conspiratorial theory was that takes anything as long as you keep buying shit. I mean, that's the goal here.
This is true.
Right. Oh.
But yeah, no, it's apparently it's been going on since the beginning.
The beginning of crime.
That the Proton sales were being counted as Windows sales.
We'll find out probably at the end of next month because I've already pinged my devs. And I'm like, yo, I need you to look for something. So we'll find out one way or the other. Yeah. It'll be nice to know. But until that time in that Proton channel, we need to cue the music. You can always find us around 8:30 Eastern Standard Moon Time. Come put us in our face. We go live on Twitch. But an hour before that, if you are one of the beautiful people making this show possible, this nightmare train, putting the fuel in our furnace, come join us in Discord, where you can hang out with us and check out the audio version of the Super Chosen. It's terrifying, and you're welcome to participate. But until next week, I'm Vin Stone. You can find me at VinStone on Twitter.com or just at Vin on mast.LinuxGameCast. Not .horse, but .com.
I'm Jordan Swung. I learned that if you blend 2 types of almond milk in a protein shake, it will taste really, really bad. You can find more of these discoveries at The Burning Fool on Twitter or at Frojo at mast.LinuxGameCast.com.
And I suppose it's, it was another week in Linux gaming. And if you'd like to follow me on Twitter, I'm at unaccounted for right there. And I suppose I am on Mastodon. It's also unaccounted for there. It just don't. I don't go there very often.
Mastcast.
Adversarial interoperability. Hey, I got through that in the first go.
That's what you think.
Dude, I literally just walked over to the wall with my marker and went,
That is literally the only tick in the Patreon column. Go thank our executive producers, Arthurian, Mr. Foxdog,
Empty,
Podcast,
Mike G,
Bob Bram, Albius Hoplo, Maki,
Scott,
Frosty the Clawman,
And
Drummer's back. It's
He
Drummer.
back.
he snapped.
Thank the. And most importantly, he attack.
Oh.
Just like Mr. Alert, Che, Yabo, Max Stonyfish, Dirty Dean, Nova King,
Maxi,
Grayson,
Frezzo,
Reneker,
Rydeker, just
9
Rydeker.
bullets, Kyle LinuxCast,
Igor,
that Cascus,
Scott,
Colin,
Ryan,
Rohit,
Joe Angel,
Steve,
Avundra,
Jupin
Gonzo
Broadcasting,
2000,
the Dome Mentor,
Renault,
another
Mr.
Ryan.
Mango, sir,
Pennywise is in there, James, and Brock.
Rosmawada, Ryan, Nathan, and the Admiral JT. And Brock.
Not to be confused with the lieutenant.
Oh, you know what? We
Or
totally forgot to
Sergeant
bring up
JT.
the. We totally forgot to bring up the fuck wall. Yeah, fuck wall. Give us some hardware. Go up, bring your name on the wall behind Ven
Carl.
with
Mike,
Carl.
Basil, and Arthurian. F3.0. Identifier, everyone. Wait. More credits.
Do it again. We gotta thank our Patreons, executive producers. It never ends. It's just an infinite loop.
5 dudes.